Greetings, everyone. This is Paul Everton, host at the Truth Table. It is season 2, episode 10, and our topic is: have we lost the grip on freedom in Canada? Now, I'm going to talk with a new guest who hasn't been here yet. Going to try the last name, John Zotynia, and White Wolf, who has been a part of the Truth Table since the beginning. And I'm going to just check and make sure that my signal, that I'm not blurry. The only way I can do that is to look online, and just to make sure, because I don't like being blurry, although I do look good. Uh, The Truth Table, I'm not saying I am truth. I represent the truth. My thing is I'm looking for the truth. I research. I'm searching for it. And my guests all have a piece of the puzzle that that I find profound and important. And there are little things that, don't matter to everyone, but they what's the difference between a snowman and a snow woman? And of course, not everyone knows it's snowballs. Anyway, we're going to bring our guest right after this.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
It appears I'm not blurry. How awesome is that? All right, we're going to get Johnny on first. Welcome, Johnny, to the Truth Table.
Well,
So nice to have you here.
thank you, Paul.
And we have a lot to talk about and a lot to share, some wisdom, some silliness, some seriousness. And White Wolf is also here, who's been here right from the beginning. And we've come a long way. We've gone through our ups and our downs, our joy and our sadness. And it is prayer that gives us our strength and keeps us going, because it's not just about us anymore. It's about all of you. When we pray for all mankind, because no matter where you're from, you're native. You're native from wherever you're from. If you're a settler, that doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you, we welcome open arms to settlers, because settlers built, the Europeans, they built this country and the United States, and brought their talent and their skills, and we appreciate them. And I appreciate these two gentlemen, who I'm happy to have on my 10th episode on season 2. And we will try to hold back on all the cussing.
Yeah.
So, White Wolf, White Wolf, let me just give it to you right now, and let you open it up, and I will pull myself off the screen so everyone sees you better.
My pleasure, as always. As always. And as you said, we've been through darkness, through light, through the good, through the bad, through the sunny, through the clouds. And here we are, season 2. Will we hear from the beginning? Yes. I honor friends that are truthful and consistent and, are here years after, still being themselves, still thinking for themselves. And so I stand with you guys. To buckle down, as I open a sacred space for us, a safe space, an equanimous space, a circle, not in a pyramid or a square, where we are all equal, no one above, below, to the sides, in front, nor left behind. One love, and sacred smoke and prayers up in all four sacred directions as we honor our ancestors and our future generations and one another and all of life. May we remember who we are and return to our true godly given natures. Take the time to talk, to interconnect, to interact, and remember that we all share gifts, talents, medicines, powers, all authentic to us like our thumbprints, as we all carry a unique gift behind our existence here upon this earth, our common mother, to do what is right. And when you take the time and stay close to spirit that lives within us all and moves us all, binds us all, you get to see things for what they truly are. Peace of mind and heart, a place of stillness and serenity where you can make wise choices and decisions, mindful to be a better, bigger version of yourself and return the good, protect what's holy, like our lands, waters, and rocks, our rights and freedoms, our natural resources. That sacred cycle of life of children, women, and elders, and the wisdom of our ancestors that reminds us. Respect and honor. May you hear our prayers, Creator, Ancestor, Spirit, that we come in a good way, here to speak truth from our hearts with respect and honor. Sacred smoke and prayers are blessed. Ahan.
Oh,
May we begin.
prayers up. Thanks, Wolf. Thanks, Wolf. Namaste. Where do you want to start, Wolf? I mean, I'm John. Everybody. I mean, it's nice. Wolf was nice enough to White Wolf was nice enough, and Paul to introduce me to Paul, and because we kind of do the same thing. I'm from Philadelphia, born and raised, and just because we're from a seascape land, we are all like Wolf said, we're all one. It took me a while to figure this stuff out, though. And I don't know where you want to start, Wolf. I love the
Well,
prayer. I was going to set a good intention. That's my gratitude as well. First, gratitude for you and the prayer circle. Gratitude for Paul for inviting me on here. Of course, gratitudes all the time. We can get real deep with the gratitudes in this world.
yeah.
Yes,
Well,
I mean,
Paul,
can love
Paul,
save? Sorry, go
Paul,
ahead, David. Yeah,
Paul, you go next.
I asked myself, can love save the world? And I think it's a core of how to do it. I think you have to, like, if someone creates spaghetti sauce, they put love into it. There's not going to be any poison. And same with our conversations. If it's based in love, then it's respectful. And I love the native prayer because we never we never ask. We don't make demands. People say it all the time. Pray for me, pray for my mother, or pray for this person or that person. But really, that kind of prayer is dictating God what to do. So I think that's the wrong approach. And I never pray that way. I know a lot of people, do it that way, but I think the best way to pray is to just be thankful. Thank you for this day, this breath, my brothers, my sisters, the truth. Thank you for, for this experience. It's always thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always in gratitude. It's never, please give me a new car and, help my neighbors pay their mortgage. these just are not effective ways to pray when it comes to greed or selfish needs. And Dawud prays that way, so I love when he prays because he's very authentic and effective. He shows how to effectively pray. He's not praying to Muhammad or Jesus or Buddha. He's praying to the Creator.
Hmm.
Creator is a very good word to use, because even biblically they changed words to Lord and Lord of Lords and King of Kings. They use different things to replace the true name.
Absolutely.
I've caught them doing this when I started translating in my research, and it was very upsetting. I found a girl, a goddess that was removed right in Genesis, and that was very offensive to me. They did not want women to have any credit whatsoever, even in the Bible. So you can tell you what kind of people were behind, the editing. And that's what I found out by looking at different versions of the same Bibles, and that's why it kind of compelled me to this show and to do this show, because I think it's so important, and people, aren't praying effectively. It's just getting lost. It's almost disrespectful to the Creator to pray to Muhammad. Muhammad started 28 wars, mass murdered one of his wives. One of his wives was already married, so he killed the husband, the father, the brother, the uncle. He wiped out her whole family. Then he married her. And they always say, peace be upon him. There was no peace there. He wasn't a peaceful man. The guy was married under God, and he murdered him because he wanted the wife. So, to me, when I read these scriptures and documents, I look for ethics, because God is ethical. So if it becomes unethical, it's not from God whatsoever. And we want to be effective and authentic, because of the days we're living in right now. It's never been more important to be authentic.
Yes, I agree. And if I can take it from here for a moment, effective praying in a good way, um, has never been about, the self. It is a selfless act, and in accordance to tradition, you are to pray alone first. It all begins here. The reason we bring it out nowadays and pray with the masses is because this is what's needed in this great change that's coming, and the prophecies that are aligning. We are to come together. So this is one of the tools and devices we use to unite, like the circles prayers, you know. But praying, one second, I just have to open the door for someone. Sorry,
When he stood
I'm
up
live
there,
on the truth. I'm on
when
the
he
truth
stood up,
table.
as soon
That
as
was
he stood
Sandy
up, I
just.
thought, thank God he was wearing pants.
Yeah.
Because
So
if I stand up, it's going to be totally different.
and there is the
Yeah.
comedy. You guys, like I said, are natural born, comedians with very good humor, which is why I really want to be with you, both of you. You know,
He started
uh,
off. He started the chat off work with the snowman too. I don't know if you caught that one. I like that one.
yeah, yeah,
What it was crazy. It's like joke, but then I'm serious as a graveyard. I go from one extreme to the other. But I think the humor is so important because it heals, and it's also beneficial, just like the truth. But laughter also heals the body, and it just moves your
Absolutely.
metabolism, and so I value that part of the
And
child
it
within
put
me.
and puts a
yeah,
smile on your face, and it radiates the vibrational frequency of it, and makes other people lift up and feel comfortable to talk about things. It's just you know.
yeah.
But go
And
ahead, Paul.
also, as for prayer, prayer is here for us to reconnect with the true nature, with all of nature, with the heart and the body, and let go of that conditioned and stimulated mind that's constantly exposed to man-made things, right? And
Hmm.
distractions. And so it is a very humble thing. It is all about the inner work, about the self. It's about others, you know. It's not about self-seeking motives. It's not about gaining, um, followings, and then,
Yeah.
and taking it way beyond where it's supposed to be, and charging people and doing all kinds of things and scamming and using and abusing people. Traditions and all that's sacred is being twisted these days, inverted these days, and hijacked by people in power, and but we have to stay strong, stand in that truth, and love is the medicine our ancestors and our elders say that we need to heal this world today. That is the medicine we need. But love is not just what we always imagine when we say the word love. Love is not just an emotion or a feeling or even a frequency. It is our very existence. You
Hmm.
know, God is love.
Right.
Nature is love. Nature, Mother Nature is selfless
Yeah.
completely. You know, and then
And
I
she's
also have a
free.
theory that our life's lessons, which some people call mistakes, are a source of wisdom, which is the source of truth. And guess what? Truth at the end of the day and love to me are one and the same. And
Yeah.
that if we, our very existence is love, and when we come down truly to the fundamentals and who we truly are, where we come from, and remember who we are, then then um I lost my track of that, friends. But as you remember who you are and return to that true nature, you see things for what they truly are, is what I'm trying to get at. you
Hmm.
know
I
and
I
and
agree.
and love, and if love was very existence, and you come down to the very truth and reality of your existence, then you realize that you are truth. Like a
Hmm.
tree is truth, like
Hmm.
the stars are true, like the animals are true, the plants are true, the water is true, we are truth.
Right. And they're there for free when you can go out and be a part of Mother Nature. As what that one thing that saved me, because as we were talking about art before, I got away from all that stuff that your inner child really connects with. Like that's what I did when I was younger. Walk in Mother Nature, ride my bike, do my artwork, like we were talking about. So when you start to connect with that inner child, which are like the most innocent, pure things that we have, that's when you get happy. Like really, that's what I wanted to be, was happy in my life, because I was very depressed. But when Paul was saying I was brought up in the dogma of Catholic religion, and then I start to say, well, there was religions before Catholics, and there was religions. So I would go back to source, like he said, like as far back to source as I could get in my little isolation here, studying it. Then I realized that I've been ingesting this stuff my whole life almost, because even before I had my great awakening, I would be interested in that kind of stuff. The natives, my because of my area in Pennsylvania, there was a lot of, my dad would put me down with this stuff. Then when we started talking, then my dad was all in Edgar Casey, which is a sleeping prophet, Bible thumper. But when he goes into trance, he doesn't talk about God is Jesus. I mean, there are ascended masters here that are teaching us, but he doesn't. He calls him creator, just like White Wolf calls him when he's in trance. He knew the Bible front to back, Edgar Casey. So I study these people, which really enlightened me to this stuff. When somebody's channeling, the sleeping prophet, he was called. Which I find it funny that they don't feel like there's any prophets anymore. You don't hear about too many prophets in these times, but there's always prophets out there, that are are talking about Christ consciousness, if you want to call it that, or whatever you want to call it, raising his consciousness level up. And
Right.
I find it so funny that you're interested in stuff before you're awake, because I believe in past lives, of course, because I've seen a few of them, through my visions, and because I had a great awakening, which I think it all like, that's why we come and any God name of. I was just thinking when you said that, Paul. I'm a big Rage Against the Machine man. Killing in the name of like uh, every one of those religions were you know
The internet's
distorted it. Just
brother. You have to leave and come back. The internet is just messing with you.
me,
Yeah. Oh, actually, you just stopped. It just stopped. Isn't that something?
my energy. I'm telling you. Yeah, we're
You're
talking about
perfect.
deep topics.
You don't have
Some
to. You don't
some
have to.
sometimes,
Yeah. No.
Paul, if you remember, if you take one window out like me, and there's just the two of you or just him, the connection gets better. Sometimes, remember?
Hmm.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe while he's speaking, you can take me out, and maybe because your voice was cutting in and out.
Okay.
So
But
Well,
okay,
I was trying to take my camera out or remove myself, maybe,
stop.
and then it sounded better, right?
Yeah. It sounds fine now. Maybe you were. It was all your fault all along.
You know, yeah, I am pretty known now as the truth teller, and anything I get involved with, anyone who gets involved with me, kind of ends up under that same, same censorship, same people start watching you, stop messing with your content, and so on. I've been speaking a lot of truth for a lot of years and exposing a lot of things as they never thought we would figure certain things out, but we did. And it's coming hard on down. That this is the year of truth, and a
yes,
lot of things will be taking place very soon. Like
And the truth is
just
going to be
from
hard
just
for
from our
some.
Cowboys and Indians United group alone, Adrian and I will come out with something very soon. That will shock a lot of people again, but um, now on an international level. But what it will do is remind everyone of real history, of how
hmm
history was tainted and affected, and how we were lied to for centuries. Um, you know, and that will shock a lot of people. Hopefully, help them to rise. You know, there's
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of awakenings coming. This is the year of truth, so
Yeah.
it's all pouring out, and every one of us has a piece of it to add, like a puzzle. You know.
Yeah.
well, and I'm sure both of you. That's a 9 years, so it's like the end of something. When next year is going to be a 1 year, it's going to be the beginning of, I think, some beautiful stuff on the horizon for the awakening. And the Chinese calendar, whoever it was, doesn't understand what I'm going there. 9 year in the Chinese calendar, and
Yeah.
I think you know I
Yeah.
studied it all when I had that time. The one time I invested my time when I had it and I have it into something positive, because, like we said, there's dark and light between us. I have had a dark side, and like Wolf said, it teaches you, right? There's no mistakes in life, because everybody was put here for that reason, to run that path. You know, to do whatever we happened to us for that reason, for this reason right here. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe. I'm of that the same belief that if I didn't do everything I had done, every step I took, every decision I made, every consequence that came with it, we three wouldn't be sitting here right now, for example, because of certain circumstances, right?
you know it.
Or because I would have walked a different way and done something else, or you. I
Right.
truly believe that. A lot of us have. That's why I say a lot of us know pain, trauma, and struggle, bear mental, physical scars. So we have all that in common. But we have to remember that we have the ability to heal, to regenerate, to reproduce, to co-work, to live and coexist in harmony and balance with Mother Nature, as that will help us heal, and we can help her heal, that we're interconnected to this whole system, cycle of life, you know, that is a big truth, a big realization for everybody, because everything we do to one another or Mother Nature affects us in the end. Affects us in the end. And if we remember, we all used to be tribal people at one point or another. Your ancestors, my ancestors. I come from that Viking blood. We all worship the moon, the sun, the elements, earth, fire, wind, and water, the things that give us life that are eternal, you
Mm-hmm.
know, before the Roman Christian reign. For
Mm-hmm.
example, my country, Poland, that was mostly heretic and pagan,
Yeah.
like 99%, is now 99% Christian because of
Yep.
the Roman Empire, right? Same what happened
Council,
here upon
Council
North America,
Nicaea.
right? But
Council Nicaea.
here in North
Yeah.
America, at least people still hold on to their culture. Ours,
Yeah.
just a few tribes still live in the mountains. That's it, But we
You know
all,
Daniel?
yeah.
Who's Daniel?
Actually, we need to find some more squares. We create
Someone has
squares.
joined us.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who that is? Daniel
Uh,
I
Root?
don't.
Are
Daniel,
you
who?
Sorry about
are
that.
you CIA?
I was listening to conversation.
Doing some construction work, man. You're right in the same field.
Yeah, no, the old guys. No, I'm actually
My
at
old
work.
field.
I was trying to listen to your podcast and talking with the
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I was
Synchronicity there, Wolf. Yeah,
so
like Wolf. I was talking. I'm using. I seen a hard hat. I'm like, wait a minute. I said the same shit earlier.
he's
We're
not
gonna
on.
Yeah,
start
with
construction
the net.
workers now. Yeah, I gotta
So
start
Kirk,
talking to my construction lingo.
oh, someone got the link. I thought it was CIA. So anyway, Kirk is here with us, and I think if all hell breaks loose, we should all just go to Kirk, go on his boat, and go to Gilligan's Island.
That's
Yeah.
cool. There you go.
It'll be fine. All right,
See,
Kirk.
people coming in here, they wear hard hats. They know.
Yeah, they know. They know. It's just like yeah, like I always say, it's just like but when you're building yourself up, it's just like building that building. I always refer back to my construction trade because foundation's most important, and then you got to build that big building. 40 like 60-story building takes a lot of guys, a lot of energy. And you know what I said to myself when I started this little journey of mine with my great awakening, 10/20/2023, whoever doesn't know, was my heavenly wedding anniversary. I had a big dream. And I said, I'm going to put as much energy as I did 20 years into building them high rise buildings, into myself and into others, as much as I can assist people because we're virtually assisting people in the journey, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said,
Definitely.
prayers without intention, prayers without meditation. Like there's a lot of things that Edgar Casey talks about with that too. Like I'm all, and it's
Yeah.
funny because my dad was big into that. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
I always like to also say there's no shortcut to any place worth going. So we take our time,
you
to
know,
to take step back and step in. You know, I have a question that all three of us could chime in on. For example, what bothers you or what comes to your mind first with our federal administrations, our problems within our countries, for example, what would you say,
first
are
word corruption,
some
first
yeah,
word
let's
greed,
go one
greed,
by one.
corruption.
So John,
Yeah,
let's what would you say right now is some of the things that are stand out for you?
greed and corruption. I mean, like they're the same thing basically because that somebody asked me that question back when I was in a facility one time, like we're like on one of these things, and what would change, like one word that would change the world really is no greed. If there was no greed in this world, I think that would do a lot for everybody. So I think it's greed, and then I'll let Paul go next because I have a lot to think.
Yeah,
Money, corrupt.
I can start, for example, and maybe we can go in a circle, then Paul, but back to John. For example, for me, a couple things stand out, right? Um, and that's aside from the freedom movement that is half co-working with the government and with their agendas and the
Hmm.
grifting and the misusing and abusing of the people. The people,
Hmm.
because I
Hmm.
am with the people. And so, what let's look at the big picture, though, right? What
Okay.
really matters is not their globalist agendas and crises and propagandas and wars and destruction and one above the other and money and materialism, but things that are eternal, like things that give us life, that sustain us, like water,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
truth,
Mm.
like Mother Nature, all things in Mother Nature, because we're only around as long as her. So there is a couple big problems I see. See, I live on a tiny island, but when I go to the city, I see two main problems. I see, let's say, I'll mention three. One, the unhoused society, I'll call it, with respect. Um, they are in the highest numbers in North America, Canada, and USA in history ever. Why is that? And why is our administrations, bringing forth initiatives like, CFIA for the animals, made for the people, and then cutting off, in USA, for example, a lot of elders, and here starting too, because everything that happens there trickles here, everything that happens
Hmm.
here trickles there. That's
Hmm.
always been our history, you know.
Right.
And the elders are starting to get cut off from their support, their pensions, their medications. They have to pay out of their own pockets. The main places that our administrations are hitting the weak ones. They're hitting the weak ones. Like the population depopulation agenda is
That's
real. It is
that's what
real, and
they want.
people have to. And it's not a solution. They try to
I
push that in mainstream media as if it's necessary because of natural resources. Then you have bioengineered food everywhere now because resources are very bad because of the people in power, those who misuse and abuse and keep for themselves. They're stealing
Yeah.
water now. All the richest people in the world are hugging all the water because that is life. That will be the most important thing. So we can house all the unhoused people. Norway did it. We can
Yeah.
do it. Canada is in like $20 trillion debt, world debt. Norway, zero.
Oh
We
yeah.
can do
Yeah.
that. We can do that. You know, um, this toxic drug overdose crisis that both our U.S. and Canadian administrations brought here from China in 2016 have now become the number one killer in the USA, Canada. Who
Right.
knows? The same for many countries around the world.
Yeah.
It's like an agenda. Why did they suddenly bring something into the streets that is 10 times stronger, 100 times stronger, 10 times cheaper to kill
I
people? you
I
know
can speak on that. I agree. I think that I was on the streets when that toxic thing came out, but what I think their agenda was, this is what I believe their agenda was to solve that problem with some deadly poison. But they didn't solve the they basically wanted to kill us off. Let's say us because I was in the streets and they tried to kill me 3 times. So it's like, and they killed a lot of my friends. I mean, let's just put it that they killed many, many people that I know, uncountable. Acquaintances and best friend, and a lot of things like this. So I believe they put it out there because they thought that would solve the problem of drug abuse or drug thing on the street or the unhomed, like you said. We're going to solve this problem with one swift poison on the street, like called fentanyl. Now they're doing it with trank and all this other stuff. So I think they thought it would kill us, and it didn't. Now it created a bigger animal that is out there now. So because they do have the elites do want like there's things written in there that our populations, the global populations, need to decrease. So like even like the Georgia Guidestones, like these people are like like we have to eliminate the people that are, in their words, what's the word I'm looking for? The
you see,
undesirables. The
our prime
undesirables, let's
sin,
call them. You
our
know?
prime sin is our prime minister once, I don't know, Paul, if you remember, used the phrase "kill the useless eaters."
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I watch both sides of the media too, like the mass media to see what's dementing the population. I do that very minimal, but I do it because I want to see what, like I said today, how to diagnose the problem, mental illness in this country with division. Well, that's the propaganda is doing that, of course. But I seen the guy on I don't know, can we say the broad I'm just gonna say Fox. I watched Fox and I watched the other one, just CNN. Both of them I watched, and the guy said, just inject them, just inject them in a lethal injection, involuntary lethal injection on Fox News, and he's still sitting there like, dude, like, are you suggesting that we lethally inject homeless people? I think that's what
Yes.
you're suggesting.
Well, that I have to say something there, because here in Canada, MAID has become very active, very supportive, very funded, well funded by the government. They're out everywhere, and they first originally were assisting death to chronically ill people who were on their deathbeds, pretty much. Now
That's
it's about
different.
to people who are on disability, people who have
Oh yeah,
depression, people who wouldn't mind committing suicide. Now they're going
right.
after elders. Now elders, like, and they will literally sit down with you and explain to you how it is, and they can help you. It's it's sickening, guys. That's
It
not the
is.
solution. You know,
No.
that's why Paul, your post yesterday is right on point, and we always talk about that. We need a man in power that cares about the people, the lands, the minerals, the future generation, about our countries. How about make nationalize and localize everything? Made in Canada, made in USA. No more
Yeah.
importing. Let's start exporting. Let's bring our economy back.
Hmm.
you know and you're right, corruption upon corruption upon corruption. So, people being set up to fail, and
Yeah.
then
Well.
they have the guts to come out with these programs like MAID or others to try and assist people, talk people into doing this, or send poisons out on the streets. Or if you or the jabs, if you don't take what they want you to inject, they will put it in your food, they will put it in the air, they'll put it in the water. It's really so.
Yeah.
Have we lost our freedoms and our rights? As long as we know our rights and freedoms, as long as we know the law, we haven't completely, but we have been becoming more and more complicit, um, and buying into the division and the propaganda, separating us
Right.
all, because that's how we never achieve anything. You know,
Well, we
complicit,
keep it light right now.
except.
White Wolf, I heard they put the fluoride in the water for our teeth, to make our teeth good because they care about our teeth, not the poison
Yeah,
fluoride that they put in our water. So I'm going to keep it light a little bit, little joke in there, but it's not a joke.
yeah,
Like people don't
that's
even know
that's a
there's fluoride in
phrase.
the water, you
That's a
know?
phrase they use a lot when they come out with these, ridiculous things that they demand us to do. And they always say it's for your good.
It's for your
Yeah,
health.
yeah,
Yeah, well, sometimes change is good. Like I was thinking about letting my beard and mustache grow in.
I think that would look good on you.
I
Some
can't grow.
sage.
I can't grow one. I
well,
guess
I've got
people
a
tell
good
me,
Viking one. My Viking blood,
yeah,
is very strong there in that
Yeah.
aspect there.
I
yeah,
had one
so
going. I had to go to a funeral, so I had to make the mother happy, so I did it for
huh?
shaved it off.
in,
with
But
with
wintertime's cold.
in
with
Gordon
just give
Rig,
me,
it would
just
be
give me
white
an
with the
an
gray.
axe. I
Yeah.
just need an axe, a shield, and I'm right there.
And I'm
Talk
not.
about talk about visions. I had a vision of myself in a castle in a crusade, like because I had an NDE from the poisons he's talking about, and
Oh,
gifts started coming to me like that, like lucid dreams and meditations. So that's
nice.
kind of how I get a lot of my information, sit with myself. But I don't want to cut you off, Paul. All right.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I have some crazy dreams sometimes too. I don't think any of them are prophetic because
Right.
it didn't get any bigger. In my dream, it's outstanding. Sorry. I know we're talking about serious stuff, but
Oh,
it
it
Gotta
was
keep it
your
light
turn.
though.
It
the
was your
Lord.
turn, Paul, to say what are the couple points, couple main things you see that are very wrong right now. For example,
Oh, good heavens! That's a
yeah,
question,
yeah.
man. So I have a list, but um, to simplify, and I think most people would probably agree with me, is that uh, we have people pledging allegiance to a king, but the king is illegitimate. The kingmanship is supposed to go from Judah, the house of Judah, man, father to son. Like it has to be that Y lineage. It can't. There can never be a queen unless the king dies, but still it goes to the next in line. They have to go back. So they're and we have a woke king who's got a clock that ends at 2030. That's a problem for me. That's like a doomsday clock. I mean, good heavens. But they've done a lot. They've taken away our 13 months with our 13 moons. They've changed the calendar to make it erratic with leap years every 7 years. What an absolute stupid thing to do.
Mhm.
They've taken the 13th floor out of apartment buildings. So
Every building. You're right, Paul. I'm used to every one of them. Yeah.
they took and the swastika means peace and it's cohesive to well-being. It's conducive to well-being. There's nothing negative about it except they've taken something good and attached it to something evil. So
Hmm.
this is what we're having to deal with is people who are erasing our history, erasing the truth, disrupting our connection to the creator. The like the Big Dipper, the swastika is based on the precession of the equinox, the different four seasons of the year. And the Big Dipper never gets bigger, it never gets smaller. So we're not moving. If we were moving through space, the Big Dipper would change in its shape. It would get longer, or depending on what direction we're going in, according to NASA. So they lie about everything, where we are, who we are. We've got five parties that the media supports, and they all collectively silence anybody that talks about freedom, like the Libertarian Party.
You're
Um,
lucky you got 5 parties. We got two down here in the U.S.
yeah, yeah, and you should have more. I think you.
Yeah,
I
bipolar system. That's what I call it. A bipolar system, if you want to be labeled. But
well, what we have like eco-fascism, Marxism, socialism, or communism. And they
mhm,
dress up like they're different from each other, but they're just different doomsdays. They're different ways of going over a cliff. They're just different cars, but they're all going over a cliff.
mhm.
Yeah,
And they've funded bad people, ISIS, Al Qaeda, with our money, and they're killing Christians, our people. You know,
Mhm.
why would they come here? Islam people who believe come from Islamic countries. Why would they come here if they hate dogs? We love dogs here. Have them as pets, companions. That they're treasures that show devotion and love, and they're probably the best example of unconditional love. Because they just love you, and they're hated and despised. We love bacon in Canada. They hate bacon. They find it offensive. Why would they come here unless they're here to invade? So our government is facilitating this invasion and they're endangering our lives. They're offering death as a while they're making everything expensive for us, but these people are getting more than our, people with a full-time job in Canada. They're getting more than that person. So of course they're coming here, but if they get cut off, they could, burn down every city. It doesn't take that many people, 100 people gathered together. And also through democracy, they can take over and create Sharia law by, you know, going in the election as a candidate and then all of their people voting for them. So, boom, they're in because we don't even vote anymore. You know, like 40% or something, you know, it's a low margin of Canadians just don't have any faith. So, these people are coming in and they're going to bring their nation with them. And that's the whole thing, the thrust. I mean, I read the Quran, so they want to take over. That's what it's about for them, taking over other countries. And all across Europe, they're devastating lives and destroying cultures that were beautiful. And I love the all the cultures are unique in their own way and they're all treasures. When we go to Italy, we want to see Italian food and Italian cultures and soak it in. We don't want to change it. And this is
Mhm.
what they're doing. They're erasing all the cultures of the world, you know, and we're watching it. But
Yeah,
our eyes are open. We have eyes that can see and ears that can hear because God is with us, you
but
know.
Paul, this is all the people in power, as always, always funding, misleading, um, leading the masses into destruction, self-destruction, because they have self-seeking bigger motives. You know,
Mhm.
and to pin us all against each other, and if really, and then we, we have to remember our administrations are supporting, standing with Israel, standing with Ukraine, standing there with uh, and funding and pouring
Yeah.
crazy amounts of billions of dollars into it, and
Bigger,
in the
even
meantime,
bigger than the government.
our
Even.
own people are struggling. Most people in the streets, our
Mhm.
vets are mistreated, being told they are
Mhm.
asking for too much, and
Mhm.
it's a government agenda again, and they keep bringing millions now of mass
Yeah.
immigrants, right? Who, with their ideologies, um, demoralizing their own people. And yes, it's a fact. They get twice as much as a veteran or a disabled citizen does. They get a job, the benefits, a car. While across the street you see crawling veterans and so on. Right? It's a truth here in Canada. And but this is all the agendas of those governments. Because I
Right.
remember when, for example, people stood up for Palestine, it was all a united world, decision. And now it has become like an agenda of the Western world for some reason, allowing it, Canada and USA, as if the government wants it. They want
They
it.
do.
They even have
They do.
police out there stopping us from speaking our mind on it, right? As if
They do.
they want this to happen. And if you
They.
think about it, it's probably been by design, the
It,
globalism, right?
it,
All these people we talk about is all globalism that is happening. That what we have: socialism, communism, Zionism, fascism. We have all this, and liberalism. We have all that happening, and really, it's all globalism in a big
right.
picture. And um, and so they they create this government-driven agenda, and we have to be really careful and mindful now. If they really wanted to, and they've been preparing for this. Remember the CCP parties, the Chinese Communist Party cells that came into Canada and the USA and 100 something countries, and started training their military forces, their
Mhm.
Chinese Communist Party forces, in police uh, um, bases and military bases in Canada. That's been happening for a few years. Same with the United Nations, moving back and forth with their military equipment, setting up in here, who knows for what. Then they pass bills where they will, in case of emergencies, they will grab native land to build infrastructures. And what are you talking about? With all these militaries in here, and if you think
Yeah.
about it, so they have millions of extremists, like, for example, Trudeau supports pharmaceutical makes deals made deals with Chinese pharmaceutical companies that supply us all the pharmaceuticals here in North America, and they support Chinese liberal armies, and then you have cells of them if they wanted to. Now look at it, Canada and USA, we are supporting Ukraine and Israel, but we're standing against North Korea, China, Russia, Iran, Palestine, the Islamic
Yeah.
States. If they wanted to, there's millions of them within the States and Canada, the Chinese, the Islamic, and they could just activate, what they do, and we'd be done.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a part of big plan. United Nations in on it, in my opinion, too.
Well,
Land
yeah,
grabs. Yeah,
I think the multinational corporations are really in charge of the world, and their main way to make money is war and division, and that's what they're doing. Really, and the Eisenhower talked about it after World War II, or when he was president, when he was leaving presidency, about the military industrial complex. If we don't get a check on them, they're gonna. That's how they make money. So that's why there's never ending wars, and the equipment they use are astronomically priced. Like one of those jets, like however many multi millions of dollars they are, the
Yeah.
missiles they shoot, 25 grand each. You know what I mean? Like it's just a total waste of money.
Yeah.
First of
yeah,
all,
yeah. They
and
pour
waste of
all of
life.
that money into these agendas, into bringing these people in
Hmm.
and confusing the populace, turning them against each other, creating
Hmm.
revolutions and wars and civil war, and it's almost like it's by design, and
Hmm.
then mistreating us. The same thing is happening in England right now. The English
Oh
people
Oh
yeah.
are
yeah,
rioting. They're like,
yeah.
what the hell are you doing to our own people? You
Russia
know?
too. Russia shut the internet off to the whole country. I've been watching it. I'm like watching Russia because he's just devastating their economy for the war in Ukraine as well. So it's almost like all these heads of they want to have a destruction thing so they can rebuild. Of course, now we're going to talk about Palestine. That's when I woke up right before that happened. That was like I was watching that stuff, and like I like when I see what Israel's about, how well trained they are, this and that, and I see bulldozers bulldozing down a fence to go kidnap citizens from all over the world at this music festival, coming over with hang gliders. I'm like, that is so staged. I couldn't like I watched that happen, and I'm like, if whoever doesn't know that stage, it's like because I was in the streets at that point, like still doing the. That'd be like a gang from Camden flying over the Delaware River in hang gliders, landing in the other gangland, thinking they're going to get out alive. It's like it made no sense. How could you get all those hostages in the most well-trained military country supposedly in the world, trained by the Mossad and CIA are over there? Let's not get it twisted. I'm sure Canada Special Forces is over here too. But they're
Oh
going
yeah.
to get out with all those people from around the world, from all different countries, for those hostages for years and years now. And even the hostages came up and said, "Well, what was that about?" I mean, like when they got released.
Yeah.
You know?
Every world agenda, it was an agenda, and we were taught in history something else in
Oh
classes,
yeah,
right? And and what happened, for example, what the Bolshevik, you know,
Yes.
Zionist Jews did in Europe, in countries like Germany before the Second World War,
mm-hmm.
they collapsed the economy.
Yeah,
So nationalism and localism brought the economy back. For
mm-hmm.
example, now our countries are suffering history repeating itself. They're
It is.
bringing in
It is.
migrant immigrants of other nations
Yeah,
who and who are taking over and collapsing our economy. They're rising, we're falling, and we
right.
need someone to bring us back. And we don't want it. We're not asking for a cycle. We're not asking for fascism. No,
Yep.
we asking for localizing, nationalizing, and caring about the us before we can care for others. Because we have a huge problem, right? And this is the year of truth. we will all open our eyes and minds and hearts to what truly is. Like you were talking, Paul, about natural time and how they changed the clock, man-made clock. They made that just over 200 years ago. And
Hmm.
the year used to end in March, begin in April. Well, all things come to life. There is 13 moons every year. We're just about to see the 13th. And I just discovered something a few days ago as I watched the skies very much, for many years. And it's going to be full. The cold 13 moon will be full on the 4th of December. Okay?
Cool.
So that gives it enough time to go through its cycle. There will be two couple days of black moon, and I bet you, and you will all see that this year still, 2025, we will see more than the first quarter of the 14th moon, which should be the first moon of the next year. And
Mhm.
everyone will start questioning that time, you see,
Mhm.
and that truth will start pouring, pouring, pouring more into the new year. I believe it. I remember
That's
when in the
interesting.
beginning of the year we were all saying this is the year of truth, and then the
Mhm.
truth started pouring, pouring. I'm back around to saying that year of the truth.
Yes.
Don't forget, and we will see that 14th moon, and people will be like, "What the hell? There was supposed to be only 12. Now we saw
Yeah.
14. 14.
Also, back to the 9 year and the 9 year and the year of the snake in the Chinese calendar, shedding our skin. It's a rebirth this year.
Yeah.
That's another thing I wanted to make a point. That's
Yes,
a very interesting.
that is interesting too. Because my Sandy, my wife, pointed that out to me. That it is the year of the snake, and I am in the Chinese calendar a snake. Every 12 years, for 77, I was born.
Oh,
Every
cool.
12 years, so I'm going through the fourth cycle and
Hmm.
shedding my skin. I'm going through a lot of things, and when I look,
Yes.
reflect at what's going on in my life, and I am in the year of the snake, where I'm shedding the skin, becoming a bigger version, better version of myself.
Yep. I do
And
want to
then,
say something. I
yep,
want to thank everybody who coming. Former guest Barrett, thank you for coming. Kirk Reese, multiple times, thank you for coming. Kathy Despians, very special. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Kathy.
Happy birthday.
happy
I can't
birthday.
believe you're here on your birthday, but that is the most biggest compliment that ever. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming. And also, our DNA, like when we talk, it's like it doesn't matter how much distance we have between us. It's like our souls, our DNA, and that light connect and influence each other. Right? It's like with girls, like it's like what did your DNA say to her DNA when you're talking, and you say, "Do these jeans make me look fat?" Jeans, get it?
he's got, he's got to end it on a joke there. That's cool.
I like to
Uh oh.
joke around. I'm known as a joker.
All right, Wolf, you have
I'm
to
not gonna
log
say
out
what I
and
call
come
it,
back.
but
You're gonna.
I like that. Like for example, I'll give you an example of what I do. Is a lady often when you take a
You have to leave
photograph
and
or
come
something,
back.
like,
You have
oh,
to
delete
go.
that photo. I don't look good.
Oh, it's
My
working.
reply is always, I don't know what you're talking about. I look beautiful.
Good.
You know, you know, I do. You know, and
Yeah.
I love you, but you know
Hmm. We're pretty
that
man,
that
eh?
humor, that humor,
There you go.
that
There you go.
you gotta have it in you. Like what my mirror and I, we have a special relationship, and that mirror, she knows who mirror, mirror on the wall. She knows
Yeah.
who's the most beautiful world. Anyone else can stand with me, and she knows. She points at me, and
My
I'm like,
mirror says.
I
My
love you
mirror
too.
says, "Stop looking at me that way."
You know what I
You know?
noticed, Paul and Paul and well, when people's energies, like especially Wolf, I have a couple other people. It happens to me a lot. You get our energies affect the technology too, bro. When you're radiating that, when you're emotional about something, I notice it a lot. Even with any platform we're on, it's the technology. It definitely glitches out. That's another thing, Paul. You might be having problems on this little platform because of people's great energy on here. You know? But I think it was
Yeah,
great.
Well,
yeah.
my IQ test came back. They were negative.
Yeah, laughing is a
Oh, it's
very
fun.
good medicine, especially when we know the truth and we can laugh about it. And starting with ourselves, as every change begins with ourselves. If you can laugh about yourself, be like, funny, you know, to
Yeah.
I
yourself,
agree.
you can share what you don't have, you can't give away, right? And when you
Right.
have it, man, when you can see the beauty within yourself, as I do, you can see it everywhere, man. Everywhere.
I got another good one. See, well, you know what a good part of having an animal is? Like, because when I start like talking to myself or laughing at myself, if I did have an animal next to me, like the people around me wouldn't think I'm that as loco as they used to call me, loco gringo. And I'm talking to the dog. I'm not talking to myself.
Well,
You
we
know.
Yeah.
got someone that joined us,
You know,
John. I don't know who you are, John, but welcome.
Hello,
Tell
hello.
Hey,
hello.
Yeah, I saw the link to join in. If
Please
you're,
check your number and try your call again. The
uh,
number you have reached is not in service. Did you
oh,
know someone arrested the devil today? He was
you want to
char-
hear the best?
he was charged
for
with
one
possession.
pizza,
You
for one
try my
pizza.
number and see my nice voicemail. You'll like it.
one more time.
Do you know what you get when you cross a polar bear with a seal? A polar
What?
bear.
A what? A what? I missed that.
What do you get when you cross a polar bear with a seal? A polar
What?
bear.
The polar bear eats the seal, right? I got you.
I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm trying to be serious. Good show here today.
I knew, yeah, I told you guys, we're bringing in energies, you know, we're in the same daily meditation circle. And you guys are always, and I chime into what you guys do daily. And,
Yes.
you know, I love that you're natural comedians, and I love that humor and that sense of humor you bring into everything you do, because it's life's too short not to be
Life's
happy.
too short. That's right, bro.
It really is. This life,
Yes.
it doesn't end here. We go round and round. Is why I know sometimes we have deja vus, or we like,
Hmm.
oh man, 10, 20 years went like, because we,
Hmm.
you know,
I have to do it
I
because
truly
I
believe
talk
that.
about I talk about things that are like graveyard serious.
You know,
End of the world and people are dying like very serious. So the humor is very necessary to
But
balance that.
it's just like shadow work. Like I tell people that I'm assisting, like you got to do your shadow work, but guess what? You can't stay in it that long because it'll depress you. So get in, get out, like do it. You have to do it. But you got to talk to yourself in the mirror, like you're talking about. Like even like that joke was a joke, but I do that. Actually, I did that when I was doing my shadow work. Like, dude, you gotta. This is you. You got to do this.
yeah,
Like talk to myself in
no,
the mirror, bro. For
yeah.
real,
I
legit.
seriously talk like that the way I do to the mirror. I do.
That's a great way. And
We
you know
have a
what? And
special
that
connection. She knows.
no,
Even from
yeah,
here, she hears me. She
I,
knows.
I hear you. But
She
that's
will
a good
tell you.
thing too. That's a great thing too, Wolf, because they're the positive affirmations you got to tell yourself. Negative self talk. All this stuff. That's what I tell people. Like I used to tell myself a negative, call myself a lot of different labels, call myself this, call myself that, and then but now I do it the opposite way. It's always yin and yang. We have to do it the opposite way of what they programmed us to do.
Yeah, balance. Balance. Like you and what you do daily. And what is your platform called, by the way? Triple.
Well, I have a group in Facebook called Triple G Spiritual MC Group. It's for motivational content to offset all the negative content in the world. That's kind of what I heard when I woke up
Yeah,
to offset it because like I said, I just saw that setup war that was happening in Gaza where they flew the hang gliders over, and I'm like, this is pretty like set up. So we need to like offset the propaganda negativity in the world. So it stands for Triple G. The G changed a lot because It used to stand for negative things, and I was told maybe I shouldn't. I should change that last G. So it's like gentleman, genius, you know, gracious. There used to be
Yeah.
another G, but then we changed that one because somebody told me that. So you can change it, and then
You know,
MC for
it's
motivational content.
motivational content, exactly. You know, and when you go live in the mornings and do your thing in the park and nature, you know, you balance those energies. You speak about the truths that hurt, but you also bring that humor. You know, which that's why Sandy and I both like watching you in the morning because of
Namaste.
that.
Thank you.
Because of that,
Yeah,
you know, we get a lot of good laughs with you there. You know,
yeah, mean,
and
right? Yeah,
we
yeah.
feel you when you talk about heavy things. We feel you the
Oh,
same way. But having that balance in there is what keeps us coming and wanting to spend that morning before we go into a prayer with you. You know,
thank you, guys. Thank you. I
You
appreciate, and I'm
are
always with you guys too.
yeah,
you
I
are
know.
long haired, so you're kind of like a hippie. And Sandy's married
Yeah,
to a hippie, so she would be Mississippi.
Mississippi, Mississippi Queen.
I like that's a great tune. Yeah, I was thinking of
She's
Rage
my.
Against the Machine, killing in the name of too when he was talking, killing in the
Yeah,
name. Anybody,
they,
any god that kills in the name of is not a god, right?
they used to call me
You
all
know.
kinds of things, Marlboro Man. You know, yeah, you know. I have a spirit of hippie. Both my parents are from that era, and they're
Yeah.
still dress and act like hippies. You know, totally. You know, they were that
Sure.
strong era that our Native American culture really appreciates for what they had done in the '60s to
I
stand
called the
up like
first.
that, to come
Well,
together like that for world peace. The
right.
indigenous nations of Turtle Island were very impressed and very well remember those days.
Okay, I would love to hear what John would like to say. Thank you for
Yes,
joining us,
welcome,
John.
John. Welcome,
Welcome,
John.
welcome.
Let me give you the front. There you go.
Oh,
Welcome to the Truth Table. It's your first time.
yeah, I've seen the link invite, so we're gonna click on it and listen.
Oh, is it
Okay.
John Vic? John
Okay.
Vic. Hey,
You
brother. John Vic has quite a story. You know, I actually wanted John Vic. Maybe this would be a preface. I wanted John Vic and you, Paul, to do a show together separately because John Vic has an incredible story. And John, good to see you. I now
Can
see
I
who you
say
are.
something?
He's a great man with a great story.
I
We
got
all
the
need to
Ottawa
listen to.
police censor themselves on Facebook today on their
Yeah.
what their
Okay, I saw one of your posts on my feed too, John. I didn't recognize you because, but yeah, I must because synchronicities and I'm connected with White
yeah.
Wolf, but I heard a little bit of your thing, but I'd love to hear you again. Nice to
Yes,
meet
take
you
it away,
face
John,
to
for a
face.
moment. Tell us, John.
Which part?
I know you're going through a lot, but you know,
Yeah,
this your example. We need to support and follow and watch and help. You're an example like Keith
yeah,
Reese, our brother Paul. He's getting really oppressed and silenced. You
yeah.
And
know,
you're a
you
vet
could
too,
say,
right, John? Are you a vet? Is that or that? I think I saw something about being a vet. Maybe on
Yes,
was that
no,
the video?
that's Kirk. That's Kirk.
I'm also a
Well,
veteran.
Oh,
yeah,
you're
I
also
saw
a
that.
veteran.
I saw
Respect.
that video. Respect, bro. I saw that video you were talking about. You had the shirt on where it says,
Today it's been 2001 day, so
mm,
it's a long time, and I was in front of Parliament Hill yesterday. Apparently, the live feed on the video camera were all fake. Nobody could see anybody for the protest that was in front of Parliament yesterday from online. But other than seeing people from live feed from social media, so there's a lot of confusion down there.
well, yeah, they won't broadcast the real stuff.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What I do?
Yeah. Yeah. Are we friends? Because if we're not, I'm friends on Facebook. Just friend me, John. And
We are already friend, John Wick.
oh, okay. And then oh, what happened? And then we can
Yeah.
talk and get a show going. And and talk about your story and focus on that, which I like
You,
to do. I mean, if you're recommended by Dawud, then you definitely have a story. And
yes,
Yeah.
I think we all have a story that can make you cry. Honestly, I think everybody does. And I think if we don't suffer, we really don't gain the wisdom of healing and understanding others better. Every time you fail or fall or um, that error that grows you as a human being. You know.
John, if I may say, John is being, oppressed and silenced and harassed by the authorities and infiltrators, even within our movements, like I am, just like Kirk Reese, Kirk Reese living in exile, our brother, ex-military too, for speaking the truth, because he knows so much, just like John, that they're getting out of their way, seriously getting out of their
Yeah.
way to ruin
Last
their life,
March,
to
I
ruin
was
their
at,
lives.
yeah. Last March, I went to Tim Horton, ended up nine police car cruiser coming around because I was suspicious and being suspicious. And they released me 5 days later, not allowed any phone call. And a month after, in May, I ended up being sweated out by the crime investigative unit or whatever they call themselves, full sweat team in black SUV and gray SUV. They come at me at the grocery store and sweat me up in the middle of the parking lot. Like they show up full gear, combat gear, and they show up with rifles and push people away, arrest me, not allowed any phone call. Was 44 days. They sent me in Ottawa CDC. They denied me lawyers, couldn't do anything, and they were denying me my pain medication. I was suffering down there, a lot of pain. I fractured my spinal cord in the military. I got out of a wheelchair, but I can barely walk. And they sent me down there to sleep on the floor with other people. And I've been openly asking them 2 million a day until peaceful resolution. And today it's 2002 days. So they pretty much owe me 4 billion and $2 million
Good.
to cover up the political story that they did to me in the 1st of June 2020. So there's a huge incentive for them to silence me, in which when they send people to arrest me at gunpoint at the grocery store or Tim Horton, send me to jail and have the guard offering contraband to other inmates down there to deal with me. Well, nobody want to touch me because they know it's going to be in the news, but it's not recommended for a lifestyle for anybody. And I don't wish anybody to fear going to the Tim Horton, fear going to the grocery store for being shackled, abducted, tortured, nearly killed. And there is no police officer who want to take my testimony. It's been going for 5 years. More than 21 arrests. Was detained many times.
Just like our friend Kirk, brother, Kirk Reese,
Yeah,
military whistleblower, reaching out for years to every single one. And those people who call ourselves leaders within our movement, always deflecting, never coming forth and
yeah.
sharing or speaking this truth. And there
If
is
they
Kirk
can
with
do
us
it
here
to
in
a
this comment.
disabled veteran, they can do it to anybody, any
Yeah.
civilian, anything. So that I
Yeah,
was reconnaissance in the military, and that my train motto is Ricky by death. Then they can't touch me because I got like NATO behind me, and they know Article 5, an attack on one's an attack on all. And even
Mhm.
there, I've been officially MIA for more than 2 months and a half. I sent the Broken Dog tag to Mary Simmons, the Governor General, who's the Commander in Chief of the Canadian military. So somewhere the Commander in Chief seemed not to care about the soldier who's been missing, MIA, and who knows what's going to happen next.
yeah. That's why we need you to speak. That's why we need to hear. That's why we need to share.
Yeah,
Just like we've been doing with Kirk Reese for years. I'm glad our paths cross, because when I see people like yourself or Kirk, and other people wronged by our federal administrations, people who have gone on tours and fought wars for them, being treated terribly. I know
Yeah.
veterans on the street who ask for my help because I'm in
Yeah.
outreach. What can I do? Because they they are being turned down when where the
Yeah.
CFA, they're being turned down at the legions. They're being even turned down at the freaking shelter for the night here in where I am because one military guy I know, he was injured during the war, and it's a liability for them. They won't let him sleep
Oh
on the
my.
freaking warm, and he's asking me what can I do to help him. I go to the city hall, they can do nothing. They don't have nothing.
Yeah. We'll give billions of dollars away to other places, like the same thing in the U.S. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we just gave $40 billion to Argentina, and we don't have universal health care, and these guys are homeless, and,
Yeah,
and, and addicted.
you know that I heard just now that every day I think 40 veterans in the states commit suicide.
That's something about the right. I know it's horrific because they're not getting the treatment they need after the PTSD they got to go through with the manufactured wars that
Yeah, and
they
they get
create.
abandoned. They get abandoned like our unhoused society in highest numbers in history.
Absolutely.
Abandoned.
Hmm.
It's
Terrible.
crazy. That's why we need people like you, John, and Keith, and sorry, and Kirk out here speaking,
Yeah.
sharing, putting it out there. That is always been, in my opinion, our best protection for one another, sticking together and putting it out there and keep putting it out there and protect each other, you know, protect each other, be there for each other when S hits the fan, you know, like Kirk knows where to go, you know.
Hmm.
But I
Yeah,
mean, I never knew what happiness was until I got married. And then it was too late.
yeah, we're kind of having a fun show, a bit different because it's always very intense. It's very,
Yes, sir.
the truths are very intense. This is the truth table. It used to be called the offensive truth in the beginning, I remember. And,
Oh, we
we
used to
turned the
swear.
truth
We used to
table.
swear in that show
Yeah,
because it was
but,
very offensive.
if you notice all the guests coming forth, it's serious. And certain people stand out to me, like John, like Kurt, that really need to do a show of their own with you, Paul, on the
Yeah.
truth
That's right.
table. Those are
Definitely.
very important, very important. That's why when I came across John's story, it was important for me to put it out and to connect you, uh, because something could happen to our brother, and we can't allow that. This is what's happening to our true freedom warriors, in Canada and probably USA on a regular
Yeah.
basis. And we
Sure.
pay attention to initiatives ran by the government and endorsed by the governments and the globalists like the ostrich farm and so on. We
Yeah. It was horrible.
we
Horrible.
get to look at what truly matters, like John's situations, like Kirk's situations, like our true, situation that's coming for the people. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
um, all eyes this way, all eyes that way, always,
A
right?
lot of
Always,
distractions.
always. We need to really stick together, truth tellers, because it's up to us. No one's gonna help us. We have to help each other. And the leaders in these movements that always end their lives with "Don't forget, sharing is caring" have never once shared any of my concerns or my videos on their platforms. Not once. So I
Mm.
stopped long ago sharing theirs. Now I am all into sharing real people's stories,
Yeah.
that have no self-seeking motives but need to be heard.
That's true. I mean, I'm not here to be popular or famous. In fact, I don't want to be famous. Don't share, don't subscribe. Well, subscribe, but don't share. Because
No, share, but
the more
share.
popular you get on the
Sure.
bad people's radar. And I don't want to be on their radar. So I just, in my prayer, in my hopes, I just want the people that need the message to hear it.
See, I
Well,
don't mind feeling
there might
anyways,
be
right now.
so many people from the feds from all around the world watching
Oh, they're
whatever I
definitely.
watch. So they are watching now as
They are. It's over. It's
probably
a
a few
wrap.
hundred or thousand of people. So hello CIA, MI6.
Yeah.
Who else do you
Oh
want
my
to say hello
God.
to?
Hello,
Or
Meta.
CMP, OPP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello,
You're right,
Hello,
bro.
Hello,
No,
Federation.
they're listening to everything we're saying right now.
You know,
There's no way.
people in power, you can do better. Do you care about your children or grandchildren to
Yeah.
come? Hmm.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
want
Will
to
go
you
inspire
go to
you.
the grave with all the gold you're gathering? Hmm. I don't
in
think
the
so.
bunker. We go in the bunker. They're going to go in their big bunkers. And they're on their ground city.
Our goal is our goal is to really unite people. I that's my goal. I want people to be
Right.
united, not for liberals or conservatives, but
No.
your brothers, your neighbors. You know, I want to give people willpower, not won't power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they feel they have a learned helplessness after the COVID and at the truckers convoy. They saw what the government was willing to do.
Guys, can I just cut in right real quick? Because President Trump just texted me on my regular text, my regular phone number. So you see, there it is. As you mentioned it, I get a text message from President Trump. He wants to talk.
Hey, Donald, just grab the
Come
link,
on.
Donald.
Yeah,
Grab the link,
I get
Donald.
like 10 of them a day. I just delete them all. Boom, boom, boom.
I have a few questions for you, Donald.
Yo, but let's look on the bright side of all these things you're saying. COVID, and let's see even like what's going on with the major crazy corruption in the United States, like with the elite, fearless,
God.
fearful leader in charge. Like he's just like not even giving two shits. So it actually is opening a lot of people's eyes. Like like wow, is this really happening? Yeah, yeah, the White House is actually getting knocked down, dude. Yes, it is. They're actually bulldozing the White House. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you don't give two shits. Like, all right, like, yeah, you got to put a record ball to the White House. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's cool. It's not historic or not.
Maybe
250-year
later,
birthday.
but,
Let's knock the White House down. You know what I mean? But like
meanwhile,
I said, it connected us all with these little movements. Like COVID taught us how to use Zoom. That's how I look at it because like a lot of people started hopping on Zoom and
Created
today.
a lot of network of people that
Yeah,
end up being a good thing overall.
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
psychological warfare because Obama tore down the White House to build a tennis court indoor.
yeah. Well,
They're
yeah,
all doing these things. But I mean, the Democrats are being like hypocrites, and it's hard to watch. They're speaking and working and messaging
Well,
like people don't have a memory.
they feel left
yeah.
out because Democrat never had balls.
No, just like snow women don't have balls, snowballs. I'm
And then
sorry.
on the joke.
This is a serious show, and I'm just being so unserious today.
Oops.
I don't know what it is. I miss Dawid. I do. I love having him on the show,
Uh,
and
I
I
told
feel
you
so
guys it will
connected.
be different. But you gotta
Sometimes I
have a serious
wonder.
one. Yeah, time for seriousness. Monday to Saturday, no problem. You know, you
Okay.
know. Other than that, the world is a freaking corruption upon corruption upon corruption upon
Yeah,
corruption. Freaking embrace for one day. You
but
know,
what they've done,
raise your middle fingers
they
up into the air and wave them like you just don't care.
they
Because
made a
for
Sunday.
real,
Yeah,
psychological
for
web.
real,
that's a good day.
protect
Sunday.
your family. Don't let nobody
Yeah.
tell you what to do. Think for yourself.
Mhm.
And if anybody comes here, I doubt they will. They know the wolf. Then they're gonna have to deal with their destiny.
That's
Masters of
all.
their own realities. So
Protect it.
we
Let
are
the ancestors
free.
deal with.
Always have been. Do not need to scream it in the street. I am free. I make my choices and decisions. Where I go, what I do, what I say. I am the truth teller. And you people in power can do better. You can do better.
Mm.
destroying Mother Earth, causing wars and
Hmm.
genocides and homelessness and crises like the fentanyl drug overdose crisis, and going after people like John, like Kirk, like me, like others,
Oh
instead of
yeah.
going after the real crooks destroying this country. We are here to
Hmm.
defend it, starting
Hmm.
with the people, starting boots on the ground, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I had to say to those watching in power.
Well, I
And
do hope.
a lot of things like I'm talking about supporting local community too, because like they're the people you need to know, the people right near you, in case something ever does pop off. You should probably know your neighbors the best, and then we can reach out and branch out. That's what I'm been doing, supporting the local farms, because you know what, probably not as many poisons in them as
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
we've just been informed, and that's already when we get informed. That's already been happening. I remember a year
Hmm.
ago, people started noticing the geoengineered food, even meats in the
Hmm.
markets. You know, um, so vegetables and fruits and meats that never seen no sun or smelled the air. You know what I
No
mean?
seed. Yeah, no
They
seed
get,
there.
get
Yeah.
ready because the people in power are hugging everything. And don't you think they're not hugging water? They're talking
Uh,
oil, oil, oil. I would check those inlines of the pipelines. I would bet half of them running stealing water.
as you're saying that, I want to promote it. I don't get paid for it, but this one app I use, and I'm aware of how poison our food is. It's called the Yuka app. It's the greatest app. Me in the supermarket nowadays, you should see me. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. You can scan the barcodes, and you can see what actually it is. And it's a pretty great app. So you guys should. I'll share it to you too. Because the Yuka app on your phone, YUKA with a carrot on it. Get ready, because I'm aware of how much poison's in their foods, and that shocked me, put me on the floor. Like
Oh,
it'll give you a rating from 0 to 100. I've got a few zeros. I'm like, well, so what is in there? And then you look at it, it's like preserve, all kinds of crazy stuff.
I'm just
Oh
So
yeah.
glad. Just glad that Dowd, didn't marry a tennis player because love means nothing to them. Well, I'm sorry.
all right, guys, I'm gonna cut loose. I gotta go. My phone's almost dead. It's
Okay.
Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate all you. Namaste. Thank you for your energy. I appreciate you too, Teller. You
Thank
Thank
you,
know,
you,
John.
John.
how, thank
It
you
was a
for doing
pleasure.
this. I
Yeah,
appreciate it, guys.
just gonna
Thank you for your
slowly.
service, John. Thank you for
Yeah.
your service.
Oops.
Yeah,
Sorry.
John. Yeah, John. Like I said, you and Paul need to talk and do a show. Do a show
Yeah.
like you've done with many whistleblowers and people who are being oppressed, seriously threatened. I myself know about threats. I'm currently receiving threats. And he's facing threats by authorities, right? More than me. I'm getting more threats from within our movement, but he's getting serious threats that, just because they
Well,
pass their
they were
stupid
making up
bills
fake
and
warrants to have
laws.
me arrested at a Tim Horton of the grocery store. Oh,
Yeah,
they
that's
sent
a
police
bit,
officer
that's a lot,
tracking my phone to arrest me on the road. And they tracked
that,
my phone, they arrest me on the road, and they locked me up. There's
that's
nothing
a
to
lot
do
more
about it.
intense situation, and that, and I believe that they could hurt you. You could disappear if that's what they're doing. That's the kind of power they're exercising
Well,
above.
January 12
Yeah,
last year, they were tracking me down, and they sent me to the hospital for mental health observation. When
Oh,
under the doctor order, I had to be shackled on a daily basis and forcibly injected, and on a daily basis, over and over and over again. When I was reminding the staff that I do not consent to be there, and I want to speak with my lawyer, but they will refuse that every day under doctor's order. They have to do it, and they were ejecting me every day, forcibly shackling me, and there's nobody who want to do anything about it. It's mind blowing. But anybody
Yeah,
can be tracked by the phone, ended up being shackled and tortured and forced to comply. And for me, well, I'm not going to comply to that. I won't. It's
yeah. You know, what my brother, veteran White Feather, had unfortunately been locked up and ended up in those rooms on those MK2 ultra drugs and not heard of for a long time. Who knows? You know, they got a hold of him. You know, because they started sending him also to mental institutions, right? Just like Kirk Reese, he knows. He also been through them. They tried to make
yeah,
him look like mentally ill. You know,
yeah.
they
They
tried to
did.
make
They
him look
vilified,
psychotic.
demonized, slender. I haven't been allowed to
Yeah,
see my kids for about 2 years, and not much I can do.
exactly. He couldn't see his family, wife, or children living in exile because it was too dangerous. And then the biggest disappointment is on colleagues or attachments and headquarters he comes and reaches out to. They don't want to touch it.
Yeah, it's
You
above their
know, it
pay grade.
begins with the friends, with the colleagues, then goes up and gets disappointed everywhere, right?
Yeah, a lot of people it's above their pay grade. Oh, it's political. We have to be apolitical. We can't touch it. Well, it's not apolitical. It's not
Yeah,
political. It's about freedom. You either
exactly.
protect freedom or you don't. And
Yeah,
if they end up doing evil, then they're ended up doing evil. But what
it's
do you want to
above
do
my
about
pay
that?
grade. Above my pay grade is what they say. You
Yeah,
instantly when they see the full story, above my pay grade.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And they can't redirect you to somebody above their pay grade. And I've asked that many times. If it's above
yeah,
your pay grade, please redirect me to somebody whose pay grade is to deal with that kind of situation.
yeah. And
And
then usually when my friends that would do that, then their highest person, the secretary, would write back, we were looking at your story, and then later, sorry, we can help you. That's how it ends. Reaching out to every leader within this movement that wants to take the federal and tribal corruption down, quote unquote, right? They want it,
yeah,
but they won't share the story out. The people who have the biggest views, right? The biggest followings. Kirk, for example, and you most likely have material that can prove and collapse the federal and tribal setup and the United Nations setup, the New World globalist setup. You know that was started with Harper, continued with Trudeau, and the chiefs and councils that were corrupted. You know, yeah.
So you
welcome
may have
back.
to leave and come back. You're totally blurry,
I'm
Dawid.
leaving anyway. I'm
Oh, not you. You're perfect. You're
okay.
perfect. No, Dawid's blurry like on
I had to get a cigarette.
see
I
him.
might be blurry because I have my medicines lit, always
Oh,
keeping
maybe,
that
maybe.
good energy, purifying. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll
I will also go about my Sunday, and and it was great that John you came in and just so that we have a chance to in person talk and
yeah.
you get the scale Paul of what we're talking about. It's like Kirk Reese's story. It's another military, you know, s- man that's being oppressed, and in my opinion, is in danger because if they spend money on squads and operation units to just for him like that and just to harass
Lock
him
me
the way
up
they
for
did.
weeks and weeks and months. And
Yeah, that if that was wide in the open, that is not legal. That is not
no,
acceptable.
no.
That is not legal. If you know the law, that is not legal.
Yeah, they follow unlawful order. They don't care, and they do it with impunity. And they know nothing's going to be done against them because they keep doing it over and over. But when they put somebody at risk of assassination or tortured, and they willingly know putting me at risk, sending me down there is a risk for it, then they're committing treason, and they should have a fair trial about that. But nobody want to
Yeah,
prosecute
just like the
a
laws
peace
and
officer.
justice don't apply to politicians. And that needs to end. Like if we
Yeah,
didn't have a party system we would be able to have petitions and remove a person who passes a bad law, like Trudeau and Essen
Yeah,
Lavalin, uh, uh,
SNC
uh,
Lavalin.
that crime right there. The RCMP knew about. They did nothing. So we should have been able to petition and have him removed as leader. But any bill that violates our freedom, our rights, or our quality of food, allowing poison in our food, we should not only have them fired, but also charged. And we have to go a step further. We have to get the people who wrote the bill, the people behind the bill, behind the puppet. We need to. Those are the people that are the problem because they're unseen. We don't know who they are. So we need to find out who these people are, have them charged, have them arrested, have them kicked out of the country so they can no longer influence our lives
Yeah,
from
and
You
now
there
know,
is
on.
organization like CSIS, who's that's their job to make sure
Yeah.
everything is fine. But what are they
yeah.
doing? They
Well,
stay
yeah,
out of
it's
politics when being a politician, a political. They should investigate whoever and those in position.
Mhm.
They they should be arrested and investigated, or at least face the
of
accuser.
course, like within a police unit or a military unit, you have internal investigations. Why don't they? You know,
Yeah,
and also, I wanted to say, that yes, they need to be punished, they need to be held accountable, but do we want to keep them? No, we don't. We don't want to trust people who have already broken it so much. The removal, I see it in a collapse. Down with the crown. Take our land, our power, our word, our mouth, our tongue back. Not give it to the king across the waters who's cutting our trees in Canada and taking them, and for example, and who controls the lands in through Indian Act, controls the native Canadian Indians, you know, and civil law is Roman law, and that's Canadian law. So
Mhm.
it's like we're living under a Vatican crown. So to collapse that system and rise again is how I see it, or through the PPC party having someone finally there who is strong, who's like a lion,
Yeah.
but with a heart, a
Yeah.
lion with a heart, um, because otherwise the system's designed so that we are doomed to fail. Just look at what they try to by having us believe so much in the charter, which is designed for us to fail and for the people in power to continue.
and they
Then
breach it all the time, and nothing gets done about it.
and then through when you look through the last 4 years, the amount of bills they passed, passed, starting with that bill 128, and those bills back in the day taking away your right to freedom, to assembly, to speak, to expression, and ignoring the universal rights and freedoms and the Nuremberg Code and so on to the international censorship bill without consulting other countries, on to bills like uh, 2, 5, now got 6, 8, 9, 14, 15 age, taking away more and more and more. So all these bills over the last 4 years, and now coming in with digital ID that's coming in next month in England and Australia. So why are they not saying anything in Canada, since Canada, Australia, and England are in a three-country pact who will be the first countries to go digital ID? So the England and Australia are going digital ID. The Prime Minister's announced it next month, the 10th or something. Why they're not saying anything if they're packed of it? They're the first
Yeah.
three to go. So again, we'll be in our holidays. They'll pass a couple more bills. Everyone will be concentrated on partying, on drinking, on presents, on pressure, Christmas pressure, holiday pressure,
Mhm.
and from every side. And then January 6th comes, we all come out from the holidays, and freaking this, that, police is at your door, for saying this or that. When we were focusing on other things like ostrich farm, you know, you know, someone did write facts. We did miss a lot of truly what happened. What we should have been worried about. A lot of people got already arrested and jailed for the bills they passed just recently, but we weren't paying attention at all. You know, they are truly saying, we gotta watch what you say sometimes now, which I still haven't got around to. But if you don't, they are threatening to come at your door and give you 5 years.
Even there with Article 19 of freedom of speech, you shouldn't fear any retribution from speaking freely. So if they sanction you or coerce you or do anything for speaking freely, then they're violating your rights of free speech.
Yeah, that's why I before I go anywhere I bring my guide to civil law and my Bill of Rights right with me here, and let's go. you know,
White Wolf
let's
the Gray.
go.
White Wolf the Gray. That's from the Lord of the Rings. Um,
Gandalf.
well, tell me. Let's touch on the international community, Native community, and their efforts to unify all people. Because you are involved in, internationally, through different groups of Native people from their own country, but gathering and talking together. I thought maybe you might want to touch on that for this show and let us know how that's going and what's happening there.
um, you're talking to me, right?
Yep.
Because I am a carrier of Bando. One of the original 13 fire keepers of the Union of the Eagle, Quetzal, Condor, and Hummingbird. The prophecy of the eagle and condor from Peru to Northwest Territories and spreading worldwide. Yes, we've been in ceremony with people around the world over the last 2 years since that fire was originally lit and we carried the ashes and the union came together. We are part of a few global peace movements where we gather regularly and create solutions and create world peace and stand up and speak our truths, see things for what they truly are. Everything is in a spiritual aspect. We always open a sacred space. And there's many, many groups around this world answering these prophecies that are aligning, and we are there. You should all know that there is millions upon millions around this world rising to bring back tradition, to embrace their ancestors, their knowledge, their rituals, their beliefs. um, Everything is coming back. The people are rising. But I tell you one thing, as within everything, within these great indigenous movements, re-indigenizing the world, reuniting humanity, and bringing the indigenous knowledge around the world is not as sweet as it sounds and seems, as everything else is corrupted, like UNDRIP, which a lot of natives believe in, but it is a trap, you know? Um, and unfortunately, a lot of these unions promote biodigital convergence. A lot of these unions are funded by United Nations, are full that the United Nations are for peace. Well, if they are for peace and they are the peacekeepers of the world, how come we're in the most war since World War II, as we speak? Is it because of their efforts of peacekeeping? No. They're actually, their country they come from is pouring money and weapons into war. Is the number one problem of these wars the USA, right? So are you telling me the United Nations are great? That's what they're trying to do. That's who funds them. A lot of these movements, a lot of these groups, and that's being in them for a while. That's what I realized. Then I started to realize there's people misusing and abusing, misleading the funds, physically, mentally, emotionally. So, process of clearing the waters, ridding of grifters, ridding of bad medicine, of bad people, to truly bring back in everyone's here awareness that we must create world divide and not be corrupt. Recognize who's who.
Yeah.
United Nations is not your friend.
Hmm.
And I see so much going on, including co-working with the Unity Week, which is brought to you by United Nations. You know, I was in those rooms, I was in those spaces, I was with everyone. And I have to say that it's a beautiful concept and it's working because there's good people in the world. But some of these people leading these things around the world have self seeking motives, do not really care about the people, about the true prophecies, about the true traditions, principles, and values. Um, and it's becoming a business. It's becoming corrupted, it's becoming inverted, used for other agendas, like everything else. Everything else we see. So you must stay true to yourself. And for myself, I left those unions. I left those movements. I'm still a friend. I'm still here to create global peace, to bring everyone together of all directions, colors, and nations, and help everyone remember and realize that together we are made different for a reason. We're all strong, unique, authentic, like our thumbprints. Together we're freaking strong and we're the many upon many. And if we break that conditioning, that we are conditioned and grown not to like or accept, and accept everyone as they are, as they come, we collapse. We hold the power. We are the many. They are the few. Let us learn to assemble and think the way they do, because we are the many upon many. But they have us in a little pinky, so little of them, and it's a matter of perception, a matter of choice we wake up with every day. You choose to comply, stay complicit and silent, um, or you choose to speak your truth and rise every day for a better tomorrow for others. You know, it's a choice.
Mm.
You choose to think you're better. You choose you're better because you're white, because you're rich, because you've got this or you got that. Then you are already starting the wrong way. You know what we do to each other, we do to ourselves.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
circle. It's a
Yeah.
cycle. But
Yeah.
but the struggle of one is the struggle of all as we find ourselves
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You know, and what we do to Mother Nature, we do to ourselves. We're only as healthy as our water, as Mother Nature. We're almost all water, 80% almost.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
focus
True.
on what truly matters, as the globalists will keep redirecting, deflecting, making it look the other way. And be independent. Be your own leader. Think for yourself. Sure, join movements, good people, but
Yeah.
look for those motives. They have to be self. Not, they have to be selfless,
Yes.
and they have to be true and honest to the traditions, and not
Yep.
be taking advantage of people and collecting their money and misleading them and mistreating them. Stand in truth, because everything is being corrupted, converted, and truly our leaders have been taken, also been taken by our feds, by the United Nations, by WF, and so on and so on. And they will turn a close eye. They will look the other way when you're trying to bring up the truth and create justice and help people who've been wronged. You know,
Yep.
there is no help out there for us except ourselves, brothers. That's why we need to think for ourselves
Well, John,
and
I will. We'll
stand
do it.
with each
We'll
other.
do a show together, and
Yes,
we can
Yeah.
talk. But
I
I
got a
want.
full interview with the internal affair of Ottawa Police on my YouTube channel. when I did an official complaint, and they go through the full complaint and my response to it. So if you want to go in detail from the Ottawa police perspective, from all the questions they asked me and I'll answer it, then it would be a good place to start with
Great.
following question, and
So there
I'll
you
Well,
go
have
in
a
from
start.
there.
There you have a
I
start for
think it's
John and
54
Paul to
minute
go together.
video. It's on my YouTube.
I
So
would like to go through it on a show just for that, where we can dig
Yeah,
right into it and archive the information.
yeah,
yeah,
It's what
so
we're
you
doing.
guys, on your own, of course,
Yeah.
book a date.
But if
Paul is getting
you
a lot of people reaching out. Book a date, John, and go on, and we'll share it
will
out,
date,
and
thank you.
we'll keep it
Yeah,
going.
thank
yeah.
you for coming, joining us, and we're gonna have you back um, on a show soon. I did want to mention I am doing a series, and it's going to be very important because it really is about everything that we're living in right now. I'm going to do a series on native law and the treaties, so everyone can understand what's going on, the treaties we live under, the promises basically. But native law, I think, is really misunderstood or not even known, and so I'm going to try to bring attention to that, so
Yes,
everyone can um, go into the videos and learn. And we teach each other,
yeah,
and that's a part of the truth coming out, and the stage we are in as a mankind, as a human race. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard, it's never easy to find out someone cheated on you or someone lied to you. So that part is going to be difficult, but we will be here with you. You're not going to be alone, and the treaty is going to just help you understand Canada and the United States as well, through native law and native treaty. So I look
yeah,
forward to doing that. That'd probably be this week coming up. I'll be starting that series. And I also would like to have White Wolf back to discuss any of the international meetings and things that come from that, so we can just keep everyone informed in real time, so you know what's going on around the world, and and be informed, because you have a right to know the truth. They may silence us, but we're not going to stop. They have to shut me up, because I'm not going to stop. I'm not afraid of them.
they
You know,
will take accountability. We will remind the people in power who they are. Power to you, speaking your truth. Keep speaking
yeah.
your truth.
Yep. So thank you, John. I'll We'll have John back soon. I appreciate you
Awesome,
joining us today.
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. Maybe perhaps you could pray us out and bless our time together, and thank you so much for being back, your first time on season 2
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
married man.
I am very happy to be back. The Truth Table, it's your family. The Truth Table is family. The Current Medicine Morning Circles family. You know, like you say, I've been here from the beginning, and it's a pleasure to see it. Go where it's going, and it's amazing how much truth you've been able to get out there. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you've been able to return. And I would like to thank ancestors of all directions, Mother Earth, our elders, creator of all life, the great mystery, the one with so many names, the one we all reach out and connect to as spirit lives within us all. Reconnect with the true nature, godly given. Listen to your heart as it always knows right from wrong, and stand in truth. Speak in truth with courage, faith, and confidence for a better tomorrow. There's nothing to fear. Fear is a man made construct. like separation, like education, like time. Let this be the year of truth. So it is. Wait and see, it's not yet over. There is a lot of truth to be revealed. Great Spirit, ancestors, Creator, guide us as we speak our truths and come in a good way. Make sure we do it with humility, with respect, with honor, with wisdom, with knowing, and come in a good way that we need no harm. Here to protect all that's holy, that's eternal, that's ongoing, life giving, all. We speak our truths, all pieces of that puzzle, following natural love, love, power to the people. Love up to all seven nations, directions, and the four winds.
Thank you, brother, and thank you all at home for watching and joining us here on our 10th episode of the Truth Table. I will, of course, have White Wolf back. He will be a regular guest. He brings prayer and love to this mission of truth. We stand in truth. We love in truth, and we all wish you a great day. Thank you, Dawood,
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, John.
and join us next week for more episodes. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Paul Everton, the host here at the Truth Table. Thank you for joining us.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.